This video is going to be a film study look at the gutsy play calls that Ben Johnson made in the Lions' 41-38 win over the Chargers Sunday afternoon, and the way that the players went out and executed in some of those high-leverage situations. I'm talking about Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, of course, Sam Laporta, big third-down conversion hacks, I think 2 of them. Brock Wright, the offensive line, David Montgomery, not just his 75-yard run, but the 5 or 6 yard run on the 4th and 5. I knew it was trap when I heard about it in our Discord. We've got a Lions Discord operating now that's part of my Patreon. Feel free to comment if you want more information about that. But back to the video, I feel like I've got maybe too many plays loaded up here, to be honest with you, but I want to do justice to each one of them in one format. You have to let me know if you prefer long-form content or not. We're going to pick this up after the Chargers have tied the game at 24, I think late third quarter. Well, 5:15 left in the third quarter. It's 3rd and 2. Still not crossed the 50-yard line yet. And Goff's going to hit St. Brown for 33 yards. This is not anomalous, meaning this is the type of thing that Amon-Ra St. Brown does. Keenan Allen put on a show. Him and Justin Herbert clearly, gave the Lions defense fits. I will have a video out Tuesday afternoon about the Lions defense and some of the things they did early on to be able to get a lead and then stay one step ahead of the Chargers kind of throughout the second half. St. Brown's as good as Keenan Allen. I don't get into comparing players. I think it's a waste of my time. Other people may prefer it, but St. Brown is as good a football player as there is in the league, if you ask me. They're giving Goff a clear window here to throw the football. Got to give credit to the offensive line in some of these situations. Look, the Lions didn't turn the football over. Didn't have a fumble. Goff didn't throw an interception. On the road, scored 41 points. Yeah, you gave up 38. You'd clearly like to play better defense and put some more pressure on the quarterback. Still same possession. This is a beautiful play call, if you ask me. First of all, you got Bunch down here to the bottom side. It's a touchdown to St. Brown, 20 yards. But the design of it was one of the things I really like. You got the running back set to the Bunch side. And watch what happens to this defender when the running back, Montgomery, crosses Goff's face after the motion by Brock Wright. So it kind of looks like it could be F counter or reverse counter where Brock Wright would serve as the kick-out block on this edge defender, which I think is Bosa. And then the left guard, 73, will pull and wrap. And watch what happens to this defender as you get Montgomery crossing his face. He's pulled just enough to the top side of our screen, the right hand of the offense, left side of the defense. Basically creates a 2-on-2 down here, but Decker, the left tackle, is able to get out here to the safety. Even in that type of space against a, quote, better athlete, it's a mismatch because Decker's playing at a great angle there, inside out. And he knows that essentially we're talking about a run concept, even though it's a pass play, where St. Brown's going to run off of his backside. Basically, that's a down block is all it is, but it's a down block out in space, so I don't mean to make it sound too simple. Chargers would tie the game again after the Lions went up 31-24 on that touchdown pass to St. Brown's. Chargers would tie it. I think they had 2 opportunities on 4th and goal and converted one of them, the final one, to tie it at 31. So we're now 4th quarter, about 10 minutes left. And I feel like this is a huge play that probably doesn't get talked about. I mean, if this ball is incomplete or anything, sack, then they've got to punt the football. And at that point, 9.5 minutes left, you're not stopping the Chargers at that point, at least, relative to the gameplay. What I love about this is you've got 3 receivers to the boundary. So they forced boundary side defensive back to slide down to the boundary. And you can see how the 3 routes create conflict. You've got the out by 1. Laporta on this kind of vertical smash concept almost. And then Gibbs can read the leverage of the second level player, bring this route back inside, or hook it back as kind of like a China out. Some people call it a whip route. As a late option, perhaps you've got St. Brown on this China in or whip route, whatever you want to call it. But beautiful job by Goff of getting his feet set, delivering the football before Sam Laporta has even turned at all. So the trust is there, and it should be. Obviously, he's best rookie tight end in terms of receiving, I think, this year, and one of the best ones in recent years at all. Same possession. This is a 3rd and 1, and you've got Montgomery and Malcolm Rodriguez in the backfield with Laporta and Brock Wright. So you're thinking run to convert it, and Ben Johnson gives us another surprise. Play action, really reminiscent in some ways, not the same play call, of his game-winning touchdown catch last year against the Jets in New York. Of course, that was a play action where he ran across the field. This one, he's getting vertical. I like the play call. I do wonder if they didn't get this. If it's what I like about the play call is if Brock Wright's really covered well, Jared Goff isn't going to take a sack. He's going to throw the football out of bounds. Now, he's not going to throw it in the stands and draw a penalty, but he's a smart quarterback. He's very aware and I think very well coached. I sense from Ben Johnson there's a level of teaching and instruction that's there. This is just conjecture on my part, or maybe an educated guess, if you will, where there's layers or depth to the teaching that Jared Goff is prepared for some of these moments and it doesn't have that level of tension like I've got to make sure this pass is perfect and potentially underthrow it, where he'd be willing to throw it over the top of Brock Wright if he's covered well, and they just go for it on 4th and 1, which is kind of the point of this video, that gutsy type of play calling kind of gives Goff some freedom in those moments because he knows he doesn't just have one play to get it done. He potentially has two. Unfortunately, for Lions fans, you had to go through this tension, 3:30 left, 3:40 left, something like that. This is a brilliant play on a 4th and 1. Herbert hits Keenan Allen for the 38-yard touchdown. One of the few times this year I feel like Cam Sutton has not reacted well. Brian Branch, you can see the fluidity of his movement. Getting lined up late. So you're going to have Allen on something like this. This tight end late out into the flats to give Herbert options. He's a right-handed quarterback, so it makes sense. Branch is potentially going to get pinned down by the number 2 receiver, but he slides underneath of it, so he actually gets in the window of Herbert to do anything with this flat route. Unfortunately, in this case, Sutton is also hedging up, or downfield, I should say, and leaves himself open, available over the top. I'm quite sure that that's not the design of the coverage, but look, you have no idea. Number one, you have no idea what play the Chargers are going to run. Number two, it's a great play call. It's a fantastic play call. Herbert has multiple options. There's really nothing on the backside, so it's a one-sided football play, if you will. But let's just say that the tight end clears out of here and Sutton covers Keenan Allen better. There is a late option for Herbert as well, even though that's going to be covered up by Alex Anzalone. My point is there's 3 options for Herbert, potentially a 4th, him trying to scramble out of there, but he didn't need to. Gets a 38-yard touchdown pass to Allen, ties the game at 38. I'm sure it had to be fun to watch live. I got to watch some of it Sunday night and then a little bit Monday once the film came out. So Goff gets the football back. We're now talking about 3:30 left in the game, somewhere around there, and this is a huge play to Khalif Raymond. A great design. If you ask me, a tight split from the bottom side of the screen. You can see how excited. I think that's Ben Johnson running the sideline there. Tight split by Raymond, meaning he's really tight to the right tackle, just about 2 yards outside of the tight end. Underneath the coverage, they're getting man, so clearly Ben Johnson had an idea about what the coverage was going to be. Play action concept, nickel defender on a late blitz, wide open across the field. Really no one to blame there at the second level for the Chargers. Not able to cover that all the way across the field if you're a linebacker with that much time for Goff. Gets the Lions rolling. Tenuous moment here, 3rd and 14. And I'm going to make a point about this one that there's a little bit of me making an inference. I think Ben Johnson's a great teacher. I do think that the Lions' willingness, Dan Campbell's willingness to go for it on 4th down kind of frees them up to have a different approach on this 3rd and 14. I have no idea what anyone was told in the huddle. I don't watch press conferences. I don't have time, number one, because I'm doing content for 2 teams. Number 2, I actually don't want to, because I want my observations to be hopefully organic and honest. And then if you know something from the press conference, let me know in the comment section. Also kind of a trick to get you to comment. But in any case, I feel like St. Brown is told, hey, man, if you got to break this off at 10 yards, Break it off at 10 yards. We're going for it on fourth down anyway. If you get more room and you can get 14, 15 yards on this 3rd and 14, great. And that's why he's comfortable getting 12 yards. Because there's some people who in these situations would say, what's 3rd and 14? Why are you running the route to get 12 yards? Because they're comfortable going for it on 4th and 2, which they do on the next play. Number one. Number two, it's a great throw by Goff. And it doesn't surprise me that he goes to St. Brown at all. I mean, I think he's a Hall of Fame talent. I really do. I mean, there's great players across the NFL, and then there's great players who make plays in the biggest moments. And that's what I think I see. This Lions team hasn't won a single playoff game yet. I think they will this season. And I think St. Brown is the guy who will be there in big moments. Another guy, 4th and 2. I've seen this route combination before. In fact, saw it against the Raiders to the other side of the field. So this is a 4th and 2. But what I mean is Laporta was on the opposite side of the field. I probably should have shown the route against the Raiders. I did it in a film study video 2 weeks ago before the bye. So 4th and 2, and you've got the running back releasing up to the top side of the screen. Motion pulling one of the receivers out of here. This receiver originated from the left-hand side. So he's going to hook this up here. Gibbs available as a late option. I think this is all designed to expand this player here and let Laporta sit it down in between those two defenders. I think you've got, again, another example of Ben Johnson designing a play that would work theoretically against man and against zone. If it was man, Laporta's just going to continue his route across the field there. The inside linebackers have passed him off. He sits down between the zones. I mean, Gibbs is available as well if the ball's already out. You can't fault Goff for getting the ball to Laporta at all, and especially in the zone relationship that guy had to the boundary. Anywhere Goff throws the football is going to be a reaction. In this case, it was the perfect choice. 3 plays later allows Goff to take a knee with 30 seconds left. After a timeout, you get the game-winning field goal by Patterson. Really cool moment, I'm sure, for Lions fans. Go on the road. That's a talented Chargers team. I know they're 4-5 at this point. I do want to cover some stuff from late first quarter. I misspoke earlier. These are gutsy play calls as well. Not this particular one. I think that just illustrates that Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, those guys showed up to win the football game. They didn't show up to potentially lose after getting a field goal with 2 minutes left or not shooting all their bullets. The 3rd and 10 here, little screen to Raymond. And again, some people would say, why are you running this on 3rd and 10? I don't think Ben Johnson's calling this thinking there's zero possibility that Raymond pops this for 10 yards. It's 3:30 left in the first quarter. Joseph has just gotten an interception. I think Ben Johnson's comfortable with the play call because he's going to go for it on 4th and 5. Like I said, in our Discord, right now I think we have 8 people in there, but I expect to have more at some point. I knew when someone mentioned this. I was working on the Ravens reaction video at the time. I knew that it was trap when they said we went for it on 4th and 5 because I got the app on my phone and I'm talking to guys in there and they said we went for it and ran the ball on 4th and 5. I said it was trap. I have no doubt. But what I didn't know was Montgomery bounced it. You don't bounce trap. Trap is designed to be a kick-out block. I will show you the end zone angle in a moment so that the running back can go underneath that kick-out block. That line's kind of not drawn in an accurate manner. Underneath that kick-out block, you can get the linebacker's block to the second level. When you bounce it, it kind of creates a timing mismatch in terms of the safeties or anyone that's 4th and 5, and I'm wondering about these safeties being at this depth with no awareness that Ben Johnson will run the football and will run trap on 3rd and 6, and in some cases 3rd and 7. Now this is not 3rd down, it's 4th down, but this to me just plants the seeds. It should plant the seeds in NFL defensive linemen, linebackers, and safeties' minds that this guy's unpredictable and he will run the football in these moments. So trap. They're trapping this D tackle here. Left guard 73. Pull, kick out. And the timing of it is such that Montgomery's supposed to go underneath that kick out block. When I say you have a timing mismatch, when he has to bounce it, that allows the pursuit from the second level to get there now and potentially play a role in stopping you. If this had been 4th and 7, even though it ends up in a 6-yard gain, you may not get it because he ends up bouncing it. But it's smart to bounce it. It's the right read by Montgomery, and that's what makes it so brilliant. Whoever this guy is, he's playing it correctly. You trap the trapper, meaning the trapper's trying to get you and kick you out, dig you out from an inside-out angle, if you will. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to get his outside shoulder to the inside. He's trying to trap the trapper. If you've done the drill before, you've coached it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a reaction based on an inside release by the guard. And 56, it's 4th and 5, I'm going to rush the passer. Nope. I see an inside release. I'm going to read my key, which is disciplined football. He does a great job here. It's a great football play, though. You got a block out here on number 3. Got to linebacker level. Montgomery powers through and gets great secondary push to convert it. Now, the Lions didn't score on this drive, and I'm spending time talking about it, but I still think it's a cool play, and this one's even cooler. I'm not sure if you guys recognize what this is. Imagine this player's not here. This is the same exact play that Ben Johnson used against the Eagles in Week 1, 2002. It's split back sweep is all it is. And oh, by the way, the Kansas City Chiefs used it in the Super Bowl against the Eagles as well. Credit to Ben Johnson for creating a little bit of obfuscation by putting the actual running back here. It's 4th and 1. And the blocking scheme is exquisite. Brock Wright's supposed to go get the edge defender, which I think is Bosa, and cut him down. Get him on the ground. Make him sprawl, which he does. Then they're pulling the left guard, the same guy that ran the trap on the previous play that I showed you. We've skipped forward some plays here, obviously. And it's a handoff to St. Brown around the edge. When I talk about him being one of the best players in football and being so versatile, this is one of the reasons why. He's a wide receiver they can put in the backfield. He'll run the football. They utilize him in the blocking scheme. Gibbs giving some cross flow action, just trying to hold defenders on the backside. Unfortunately, 80 takes a bad angle to the second level player, lets him beat him over the top. And since he beats him over the top, he's able to prevent what could have been an even bigger game by St. Brown. Not potentially a touchdown, but it's a beautiful play. Split back sweep. Again, act like Gibbs isn't there. Split backs. The only difference is everyone knows that the tight end Brock Wright is not going to run the football. So it's not really split backs and two guys that are legit run threats. Additionally, St. Brown's depth. You kind of knew where the football was going. 32 even kind of pointed. Started hedging that way. Maybe that's why he was able to get over the top of 80. Gutsy play calls doesn't even get to the point. It doesn't even do justice to what Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, and those guys rolled in there and did. Let me know if you appreciate it or you enjoyed the way I broke down the plays. The plays that I chose, I thought it was appropriate to pick these. The modern NFL game calls for, in some ways, using analytics and going for it on 4th down. I'm not so sure that that's what Dan Campbell is doing all the time. I'm not taking credit from him at all. I'm saying I think sometimes he's looking at it from a season-long perspective and a belief perspective, and he may have the right perspective on this. I have been a huge complainer about John Harbaugh and his insistence on going for it on 4th down sometimes and not taking field goals, particularly situations where the Ravens are in a lead and have end up blowing leads. I feel like I'm being hypocritical for saying this, but I wonder if Dan Campbell has figured something out from his previous coaching experiences or as a player that absolving your quarterback, your offensive coordinator, of the need to get 14 yards on a 3rd and 14 doesn't kind of create more high percentage opportunities on 4th down. And I think there's something to be said about that. I'm not sure that I got to all of the thoughts of it. You guys let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. If you appreciate and enjoyed this content, please consider grabbing a link to it, sharing it out on social media so that other Lions fans can enjoy it. I will take a look at the Lions' early game defense, how they were able to kind of get the Chargers off the field before Herbert really got rolling, I think, in the last 2.5 quarters. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section.